I fact-checked every GOAT list on the internet, and 99% of them are objectively wrong. Today, I'm giving you the only fact-checked, indisputable top 5 boxers and top 5 MMA fighters of all time. So we're going from 5 to 1 on each list. Every pick is backed by records, titles, and wins, and dominance metrics. Not feelings, not nostalgia, not who you grew up watching. And I'm going to tell you right now, the MMA #1 pick is going to start a war. In the comments, let's get into it. Boxing, number 5, Roy Jones Jr. This man was the #1 pound-for-pound fighter on the earth. Not top 5, number 1. He won titles in 4 weight classes, from middleweight all the way up to heavyweight. He holds the record for most wins in unified light heavyweight title bouts with 12. Roy Jones didn't just beat elite fighters, he played with them. He had his hands behind his back, no-look hooks. He was so fast and so gifted that he looked like a different species in the ring. And if Roy Jones isn't in your top 5, you have never actually watched boxing. At number 4, Iron Mike Tyson. In 1986, at 20 years old, Mike became the youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history. The record still stands. He started his career 35-0. His first 19 fights, all knockouts. He finished with 44 KOs and 56 wins. And the man had an 88% finish rate. And people love to bring up the losses later in his career, but Prime Tyson, under custom model, he unified the WBC, the WBA, and the IBF titles when heavyweights were actual monsters. Mike didn't just knock men out, he broke their will to fight before the first bell even rang. That's the level of psychological dominance no heavyweight has ever matched. Number 3, the most undeniable fighter in boxing history, Floyd Money Mayweather. 55 wins, 0 losses. This man beat 24 world champions. Pacquiao, De La Hoya, Canelo, when Canelo was undefeated. Mosley, Cotto, he won 15 major world titles across 5 weight classes, from super featherweight to light middleweight. And you can cry about his style all day, but the objective of boxing is to hit and not get hit. And Floyd mastered that better than any other boxer who ever lived. When he retired with his brain intact, his money intact, and a 0 in the loss column. Now argue those numbers. But the next 2, they make Floyd look mortal. Number 2, the man that they literally invented the term pound for pound for, Sugar Ray Robinson. His final record, 175 wins, 109 knockouts, in 202 professional fights. Sugar went on a 91 fight unbeaten winning streak that lasted 8 years. In the golden era of boxing, when fighters fought every 2 weeks, not the twice a year shit, not twice a year. He was a 5-time middleweight champion. He fought in the era with no video analysis, no sports signs, no $1 million camps, and he was so dominant that Muhammad Ali himself said Sugar Ray Robinson is the greatest fighter to ever live. When the greatest call you the greatest, dog, that's your resume. Number 1, the greatest, Muhammad Ali. 56 wins, 5 losses, 37 knockouts. 3-time world heavyweight champion. He beat Sonny Liston twice when the whole world thought Sonny Liston would kill him. He knocked out George Foreman in Zaire, and he went to war with Joe Frazier 3 times. But here's what separates Ali from everyone else on this list. He was stripped of his titles and banned from boxing for 3 years during his athletic prime because he refused to be drafted. He came back at 28, past his physical peak, and still won the undisputed heavyweight championship. He had the speed of a middleweight, the chin of a god, and the heart of a man who would rather lose everything than compromise who he was. That's not just a boxer. That's the greatest combat athlete who has ever lived. That's boxing. But let's talk about the fighters now who don't get gloves. No standing 8 counts, no referees saving you. The top 5 MMA fighters of all time. And I already told you, number 1 is going to make people lose their mind. Number 5, the most disrespected GOAT in combat sports, Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson. This man defended the UFC flyweight title 11 consecutive times. He beat Benitez twice, Dodson twice. This man cleared out an entire division so thoroughly, the UFC literally traded him to another organization because there was no one left for him to fight. This man suplexed a man in midair and then put him in an arm bar before he hit the ground. Like, that ain't fighting, bruh. That's a cheat code. The most technically complete mixed martial artist we've ever seen. And most casual fans can't even spell his name. At number 4, we got the Spider, Anderson Silva. Before MMA became a wrestling contest, this man was treating world-class fighters like they were sparring partners. He held the UFC middleweight title for 2,457 days. He went on a 16-fight UFC winning streak, and that record stood for over a decade. He front-kicked Vitor Belfort in the face. This man dodged punches like he could see the future. He beat Rich Franklin so bad that Franklin looked like he wanted to quit the sport. Prime Anderson Silva is the closest thing to art inside of a cage. At number 3, the Eagle, Khabib, 29-0, undefeated. Now let me tell you what the record doesn't show you. He never lost a round on most scoreboards. He never got dropped. He never bled. In a sport where everyone usually loses, Khabib never did. He told every opponent what he was going to do. Take them down and smash them. He mauled McGregor. He put Gaethje to sleep. Then he retired at the absolute peak because he promised his mother. That's not just dominance. That's a man who was never in danger for a single second of his career. And the top 2, they gonna shock you. At number 2, George Rush St-Pierre, 26-2. And he brutally avenged both of those losses. 13 title fight wins, 9 consecutive welterweight title defenses against murderers Rowe, Hughes, Penn, Koshik, Shields, Condit, Diaz, Hendricks. Then he retired and sat on the couch for 4 years. Came back up an entire weight class and choked out Michael Bisping to win the middleweight title. GSP had the best jab in MMA, the best takedowns in MMA, and he didn't even come from a wrestling background. He was a karate kid from Montreal who turned himself into the most complete fighter welterweight division has ever seen. And number 1, that man that I told you would start a war, Jon Bones Jones, the youngest UFC champion in history at 23, a record 16 UFC title wins. His only loss is a disqualification for an illegal elbow. Also in a fight that he was absolutely dominating. A fight where Matt Hamill could not continue because of cuts, not because Jones was losing. I don't care what he did outside this cage, because inside of it, he was the most dangerous human being who ever competed in mixed martial arts. He destroyed the greatest era of light heavyweight champions in UFC history. Shogun, Rampage, Machida, Evans, Belfort, Gustafsson, Cormier, Teixeira, and he beat every single one of them. Then took 3 years off and moved up to heavyweight and submitted Cyril Gane in the first round. Jones didn't just beat legends, ended their primes. There's no argument against Jon Jones that holds up when you look at the actual record. That's the list, fact checked and backed by numbers. If you disagree, drop your list in the comments, but bring stats, not your feelings. Now, if you think this list was controversial, wait until you see who I left off. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss it. Holla at your boy. Peace. I'm out.